you, and out the corner of my eye saw a pretty little thing approaching me. Said I never seen a man who looks so all alone. Or could you use a little company? If you pay the right price, your evening will be nice, and you can go and send me on my way. I said you're such a sweet young thing, why you do this to yourself? She looked at me, and this is what she said. Oh, there ain't no rest for the wicked. Money don't grow on trees. I got bills to pay, I got mouths to feed. There ain't nothing in this world for free. No, I can't slow down, I can't hold back. Don't you know, I wish I could. No, there ain't no rest for the wicked till we close our eyes for good. Not even
live from Studio C. 2 guys who ask, wonder what they're doing in T-Town right now. Not this. It's South Alabama's #1 podcast, Drive Time with DJ and KJ.
Good Monday morning and welcome to the best worst show on Facebook. The quarantine continues. Good morning, Kenwood.
Good morning. Good morning. Are we self-quarantining to Studio B, A, B, C, D? What's this? David Jenner used to have saving up the yellow hankies.
Saving them up. He knows it. She let Donald Thompson
foul ball. A lot of people in with us this morning. You want to hit it?
Yes. Good morning, Jesse James. Donald Thompson's in. Miss Gail Kurtz, good morning to you. Cody Fowler, good morning. Tracy Crawford Dykes, good morning, neighbor. Let's see who else we have in. First, Dustin Varner's in. Good morning to you. Jason Killam, good morning to you. Red's in. Good morning, Red. The Rock's in. Lori Duke Woodard, good morning to each of you. Sheriff Jackson, good morning, Sheriff. Elmer Womack, good morning. Good morning, Kenwood. They're getting in here slowly but surely.
Yeah. Well, you know, everybody's probably a little weary from all this quarantining.
It hit me a little bit yesterday afternoon. I finally just got out and got on the golf cart and cruised through the neighborhood and back. But I really did quarantine all weekend. I went to the grocery store Saturday morning to get a few things, and then that was pretty much it.
No, we didn't get the memo this morning.
Yeah.
About matching.
I had an extra shirt in the car just to make sure that we didn't. Because, I mean, 3 days in a row.
I'm going to tell you, I don't know how that happened, man. I mean, really, I don't. What'd you see riding around?
Not much. I think everybody else is kind of taking heed to the quarantine requests as well. Not much at all.
Let me ask you this question, and I'm certainly not trying to incite things against what the government and our people are telling us. I can't believe I'm saying that about the government because it sounds so communistic. Is that a word?
Can be.
Okay. We put that in the Webster's. Y'all get that in the dictionary.
Good morning, Miss Harp.
Socialistic. How about that?
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yes, they were. All's well on the north side.
But somebody brought up a good point. I don't know if it was over the weekend, maybe end of last week. But what about some of these businesses that depend on, the walk in or the walk up or the, some sort of, you got to go there to do that kind of thing. Now, let me say this. Can all businesses be run online in this day and age? I would think most retail businesses can be if it's set up correctly. A matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it can be. But, there are still people that like to go and sit down in front of other people. I'll use insurance business for an example. If you got an insurance agent, you like to go sit down in front of them and talk with them, or you've got to go in and do some business, that kind of thing. Can you do that over the phone? Yes. Still a certain contingent that likes to go and do that other. Now, I'm not saying let's all go do that. I'm just saying you riding around the golf cart yesterday is indicative of people pretty much doing what they're being told to do right now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that good for this country?
That's kind of
I know it's a double-edged sword question. I know.
You know, and I probably don't have an answer for the question you posed. I have a thought along those lines, and my hope is there's going to be some government relief for all these businesses in some form or fashion. My hope is that the information is disseminated in a way that all these people know how to access it. And for some of those really small businesses, family-owned mom and pop type shops, I hope they have somebody in their network that knows how to access the information and get the help that is going to be there.
Yeah.
I think without that, then they're looking at some really dark days.
I agree. Good morning, Andrew Robinson, Meg Jordan, JP the coach. Good morning. Bama Scan News. Tell you what, you want to catch something going on in around the Dirty 30? You ever catch them? Bama Scan? Oh, well, let me tell you something. You can find out what's happening with them.
Okay.
Check them out. Bama Scan News on Facebook. You can get your fix on what's going on to the right now.
Okay. I'll have to check that out.
If that's even possible. But Miss Gail Kirks, good morning to you. Karen Peters, good morning. Miss Carol, good morning.
Good morning, Miss Carol.
Yep. Raj in this morning. I think you might have got Raj. Donna Mansell, good morning. Christy Desher, John Blair, Kristen Lindsay. Let's see here. Bunch of them in here. John Blair said, got up extra early for work to watch y'all. Well, thank you, John. We appreciate it. Good morning, Casey Halsey. Jamie Ann Halsey in. Wendy Williamson. Good morning, Wendy. Book. Good morning, Booker. Again, Christy Miller. Good morning to you. Ryan Bedsole. Ryan and Heather Bedsole. Good morning to you. Chevy Ann. Good morning, Chevy Ann. I'm not trying to make an issue. I'm just saying, that's one of those things that. Now, I did see where the governor over the weekend said there was going to be some assistance available to small businesses and that kind of thing. But as we've talked about, how long does it take to get the red tape out of the way to get to all that?
That's frustrating.
That's
frustrating.
It is. I just I don't know. I just don't understand how we can continue down the road that we're going down and just have a complete shutdown of this economy, meaning everyone go to the house or stay at the house. At some point, there ain't gonna be no houses for people to stay in.
Good morning, Booker. One of the things,
and I'm not trying to spread pessimism. I don't mean it that way, but I'm just looking at it from a reality standpoint.
I do think one of the things locally that has taken place, that is taking place, and will continue to take place as long as we're allowed to, is I think the people of our area have been vigilant in trying to support as many of these different businesses as they can, even though the service has been altered somewhat. Curbside service, you may have to wait after you place your order, wait 10 or 15 minutes, whatever it is. But I know in talking to some of the business owners, and Larry Murphy is one of them at Camp 31, Josh Godwin is another at David's Catfish, they have been very appreciative of the people who have continued to trade with them through these trying times. And that's just two of them. I know that it's going on across the board, and hope it continues to do so. I certainly plan on to frequent them as often as I can. But I am fearful that things are trending in a direction where we're going to be facing more restrictions and where we can and can't go.
Well, let me say this. I'm working on something, and so are a lot of other people. So I don't want to act like I'm the only one. Okay. Right. But I'm working on something that would try to help the local business community be accessible to everyone. If you can get on the internet, if you have a phone that you can get on Facebook, or if you have a phone, you what have you. I'm working on something to try to make that where that's a possibility for anybody that wants to reach David's Catfish. I'm not saying they don't already have a presence. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if we have a one kind of group spot, I'll say one spot where you kind of like the trails. Everybody knew you were going to be at the trails. Mm-hmm. If you got one spot that hey, I can go here and I can get hold of this, then that does make it a little easier to as you said, to continue to trade, do business with people. The one big question mark here, and there are no experts. Okay, I mean, and I'm telling you right now, that's the one thing that has a lot of people not really understanding. You know, these are times none of us ever been in, so we don't know from day to day what is going to be out there. What's going to, we don't know. I do know there are people in this community that are doing all they can to try and figure it out and help this community keep going forward and keep moving. And, that's just what we need to be doing. So, anyway, on a lighter side, was this day number, 14, 15, 16 of Corona, whatever you call it?
Starting to stack up.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, we're all going to get stir crazy and tired of all this mess, aren't we? And I'll stay tired of it. I mean, I know we don't need to be out as far as getting out and around. They preach this all the time. Let's don't spread this and that and other. But how much of that can people take? There's only so much you can do laying up in the house.
Tell you what, I watched Ocean's 11 4 times yesterday. And when it was going off for the fourth time, I had to get out. I mean, that was where my threshold with the rubber met the road.
Ocean's 11 4 times.
And I like Danny.
Winning.
But
I mean, but man, there's only so much of it, I mean, it's like the Shawshank Redemption. How many times? I mean, I'll watch it every time I see it, yeah. But I mean, how many times can you watch it in a weekend? I've been on a Chernobyl kick.
I can tell you what I watched last night.
What's that?
To cap it off, was Frozen. I just needed a change up. I had to have something a little different. And
wow.
I like a musical.
Well, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Raj Palmer said it best. Pandemonium.
Good morning,
Jill Ford. Good morning from Russia.
Yeah.
Have you got Tatiana pulled over to the side over there somewhere? Kim Salter, good morning to you.
One of the stories that is coming out of this, and once again, this isn't throwing anyone or anything under the bus, and it's hard to prepare for every variable when something like this happens. But I find it amazing that our medical professionals are having a hard time rounding up personal protective equipment. Like the masks are non-existent. They don't have it. There's a huge shortage in masks. They've got people making them at home and trying to donate them to the different facilities. That blows my mind.
I got an email last night that said GM, Ford, and Tesla are going to start manufacturing those ventilators and things. I think this week. I'm not sure what plants or that kind of thing. I just know I got that message. Somebody asked a question. Can y'all give us your opinion? Dustin Varner said, can y'all give us your opinion on the Democrats shooting down the stimulus package? Alabama Senator Doug Jones, one of them. Listen, we don't get in much to politics here. We try to stay away from all that kind of thing. I want to say this about that, and this hasn't got anything to do with politics. Something's got to be done. I mean, I don't know what the answer is. I don't have the answer. But all I can tell you is something needs to be done.
There shouldn't be a political line when you're talking about people suffering and trying to offer some relief or help.
No.
And whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans, or it doesn't matter. There shouldn't be that division when you're talking about helping people.
That's right. That's
Period.
right. Good morning, Naomi Lindsay, Candace Carnley, Kane Dickey. And there shouldn't be, but it always seems to creep its head up in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
So I don't pretend to have the answers, but I will say this. I think anything that can be done to help spur the economy. But here's my issue. Okay. They want to talk about sending out money to people, but yet if as you pointed out a little earlier, we don't know what the restrictions are going to be today, tomorrow, the next day. If things do get down to that point, what good is that going to do anybody if you can't use it? I mean, it's kind of like having a hunting rifle and you don't hunt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those. It's just one of those things. I mean,
Do you know anybody personally that has fallen ill to this?
I do not. I saw last night where Rand Paul had Senator Rand Paul had come out but now he is asymptomatic according to what I read. He has no symptoms.
He just tested positive.
Yeah. I also read there was a 17-year-old in Milton that has tested positive for it. They have no idea how. He hasn't traveled. He hasn't been anywhere. They have no idea how. So,
wow.
That's, hey, and look at that. We got to stop the press. The biggest breaking over the weekend was, and I'm glad Donna Mansell said this, Kenny Rogers passed away this weekend.
The gambler.
I mean, when you think back to your childhood, I want you to tell me, do you not think back to he and Dolly Parton singing Islands in the Stream?
I think back, and I think I'm right here. Wasn't he in a movie called Six Pack?
Yes.
That's what I think of.
Yes.
Great movie.
He was. Was he in...
I think he sang with the Nashville Brass one time, if I'm correct.
Was he not... All the pictures I see of the old Ritz Theater, the Underground Theater.
Yeah.
The movie on the billboard is always, and I don't know if it's just the only pictures floating around of it, is the best little house in Texas.
Yep.
Was he not in that movie as well? Wasn't he and Dolly in that movie?
He was. He was.
Yeah. We lost a legend.
Yeah. 81.
And I'm going to tell you something. He didn't look it.
No, he didn't.
Now, I don't know if that's a product of good doctors.
I think there were some products involved.
Well, I want some of them.
I think there were some products involved.
I want to tell you, I want some of them. I don't know about you, but he looking pretty good for 81 years old. Hope I look that good.
Yeah.
Did I still haven't showed you that video, have I, of Big Kenny? I want all y'all to know to stay tuned. This week, we've got a video coming for y'all that y'all are not going to believe. And when I show y'all that video,
Are you gonna?
well, we're going to show it. We're going to release it. We're going to show the Pete Rose.
Man.
And I'm telling you, then we're going to show the after effects.
Oof. Poor Kenny.
Yeah, we're going to show all that. So why wouldn't we? Hey, look, Rob's got a good point right there. Waiting on Fireball hand sanitizer.
Speaking of sanitizer, one of the best Facebook posts I saw this weekend, there was a store somewhere that was trying to curb the hoarding that is going on at a lot of the grocery stores. And
people buying up stuff they shouldn't be buying, or that overbuying.
It showed a bottle of hand sanitizer for like $4.95.
Right.
If you buy a second one, it's $96.
Really?
One for $4.95 or two for $100.
Winning.
Well, that'll stop it.
Yeah, I
Is
love
that
that.
hair gel?
I love that.
Hey, that'll stop it.
That has been disappointing to me to see how that has happened throughout.
You know,
I mean, come on, man.
I want to say this though about that, and I want you to think about this. The only other thing, and now think, okay, we're all humans, right? Human nature kicks in, and then you have that, fight or flight mentality. Okay, everybody has one. Okay, and so it goes back to what have we done in the past when things like this happen? And so the only thing we can equate this to is a hurricane. So what happens when hurricanes come? People do the same exact thing, except hand sanitizer is not involved. It's water, bread, milk, the essentials. Mm-hmm. And they go and they buy it up and buy it up and buy it up. But what do you not hear? You don't hear people raising hell about it. And why not? Because this is much bigger than that. I mean, hurricanes are kind of, like this area or kind of regional. Okay, well, it affects the southeast or it affects the, East Coast or whatever. This thing is something that's just way, way, way across those lines. So I'm like you. If you don't need it, leave it on the shelf. But here's my thing. We've been programmed to run out in times like this and buy all this crap up. So my question is are people just being a bunch of idiots going out and doing that? Are they being selfish, or are they doing what they've been programmed to do? I want you to think about that. Because when you start thinking about being programmed to do something, all I can see is those kids falling off the end of that conveyor belt on the wall into that meat grinder. I'm talking about Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
During that, what is We Don't Need No Education, The Wall, whatever the name of the song. You tell me. I mean, it's and I'm not justifying it. I am not saying that at all. Okay. I'm just pointing out the fact, that yes, should people be out there buying 6 cases of hand sanitizer? Probably not. But what do you do when you've been programmed to do that, especially when it comes to hurricanes and the like? And I'm not saying this equates to a hurricane. I'm just saying that's the only thing around here we can equate this to is that. Do you have a different opinion?
No, I hear what you're saying, and I'm with it. It just seems like on the front end of it, because we've had the hurricanes as an experience to draw from, there could be something on the front end to limit the quantity that you can buy at one time. I mean, because it's going to, that people are going to go for the bread. They're going to, this is the hand sanitizer is, particular to this event, but it just seems like there'd be something in place, get 3 loaves of bread, get 5 loaves of bread, but you should be able to get 15.
Well, I'm going to point out a point that Jesse James just made. Hank Jr. taught us how to survive a long time ago. Remember that song?
Oh, yeah. My freezer's full of deer meat and fish.
I was about to say, let me tell you something. Most of us got hunting rifles. Most of us have fishing poles. And you're not going to tell any of us how to go out and kill a deer or not kill a deer or kill a squirrel or whatever it is you like to eat. And you may not like tree rats. I don't know. But I'm saying catching fish and doing all that kind of thing, I think we can make it.
You're going to love this. Yesterday.
Good morning, Cindy Lou. Chef Adam, good morning.
Ron McDaniel posted yesterday on Facebook. I think it was just north of
Hot Rod
of Walmart here on 31.
Okay.
Somebody had run over, hit and killed a doe.
Okay.
He came back after his errands 20 minutes later, and somebody had cut the back straps out of it.
Wow.
Roadkill. That happened yesterday.
Cut the back straps out.
Cut the back straps out of it. So yeah. We're gonna make it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, we're gonna be fine. When it's hard to find toilet paper and other items, here's another thing though. Let me say this. I wonder if GP will keep throwing toilet paper out at the Christmas parade this coming Christmas, because as crazy as people have been over toilet paper, they lobbed inside a riot downtown. And listen, it's at night now when they do that thing. Mm-hmm. They lobbed inside a riot down there throwing stuff like that.
It's always that's a big grab down there that night for sure.
They'll be fighting in the streets, Randy Bell, possum meat is going up in price. Well, I'll tell you this. I don't care what anybody says. If I remember when Ivan came through, and I know you do because you were right in the middle of it, we had to cook everything was in the freezer because all the electricity was out. Mm-hmm. And we cooked for the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. I'm sure everybody probably saw a lot of that kind of thing. But I know we did, and I know I ate better during that time than I eat most of the time.
I would say on average, everybody gained 15 pounds.
Oh, I know I did.
There was some great cookouts in and around this county for that week after that storm.
There was. And
great cookouts.
And my thing, and we go back to this again, we all were there to help each other.
Sure.
But I want to ask you this question, and I know you've had some time to think about it. All of about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
We can all help each other in need, right? Well, there you go, Sarju. Great point. But what do we do right now to try to help keep our local businesses going? I mean, I'm going to tell you this. I know I keep going back to that, but as you and I have talked, is that not job number one right now? Is it or is it not?
I would think that it needs to be. I think personal safety is right there.
And I don't mean trying to step on nobody's toes here now. I don't want to mean it that way.
We have to be safe. Constant sanitizing, clean. I agree with the social distancing. I think all of it is a piece of the puzzle. But there has to be a way for us to safely continue to support the local economy.
Yes.
Because if it's not here when this is over with, then what do we do?
Let me tell you this. Look around Bruton, East Bruton, Pollard, Appleton. How many churches, how many banks can you count in those areas that I just talked about? I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say there's at least 30.
Okay.
Would you?
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Would you agree with that?
Or more.
Or more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In saying that, if we don't all get behind each other and try to remember to help keep these local businesses and keep trading with them and doing all we can to do that, how many of those you think are going to be around in 30 days, 45 days? You know, everybody thinks, well, banks got plenty of money. They got plenty of money. Let me tell you this. If there are no people here to go in and trade with these banks, do you think banks are going to stay here? How do you keep churches going when you don't have people sitting in the pews? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I agree with what the government said about let's make sure and keep putting money in the offering plates. But here's the thing. Nobody's offered any way of how to do that. Now, a lot of us look at each other and say, well, we know how to do it. Use PayPal or something like that. Well, that sounds good, but how much of it is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Has PayPal come out, waived any of their fees during this time? I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen what they have.
And I'm not dogging PayPal, but I'm saying I haven't seen where they've done that. And maybe I'm wrong, but, I don't know. I think that we've got to be a lot more vigilant about what's going on locally. And I know we've got to keep the distancing, and I know we've got to keep in mind that they're staying, what do you call it? Minding the guidelines that are set forth to make sure that we don't spread what could be spread.
Well, here's something else that I'm sure that bigger thinkers than me have thought of. When's this going to be over?
I don't have a clue.
Nobody does.
No.
I mean, this could go, I'm not wishing this on us. This could go into the summer and beyond.
Sure it could.
The effects of it could certainly last much longer. So there has to be a long-term strategy where you balance and you don't take away from the public safety aspect of it, but you have to be mindful of the economic situation as well. I think that's what scares me the most is not knowing, on a hurricane,
we know when it's going to be.
It's going to be here.
That's right.
It's going to do what it's going to do.
And it's going to be gone.
And then there's response and recovery.
Right.
With this, you don't know. And that creates a lot of anxiety for me anyway.
Well, let me ask the Drive Time fam this. No, we're actually 6 feet apart. You just can't tell it, Sargi. It's just it's a camera trick.
The left side of my head may be over the line, but I've got it.
Let me ask you this. And talking about, something being over and that kind of thing. 2 months from now, what do you do?
I don't know. I mean, that's what the uncertainty of this to me is the most troubling of it and the scariest.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this.
Ish.
Oh, 6-1. What did they say last week? Was it 5 whatever's the new 6-2?
Yeah.
Or 6-1, whatever it was?
6-1-ish.
I can tell you this. The drive-in, like the Country Express, where you go pick and here's the deal. Everybody needs to realize that you have these businesses, these restaurants that are normally go in and eat, that kind of thing. They're all open for carry-out service right now. Mm-hmm. All the ones I know locally are open for that. So we've got to make a concerted effort to use that to the best of our ability. Number two, if they're not offering delivery service, then maybe some of us need to get together and figure out how to get a delivery service going for these businesses that don't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because you said it last week, talking about with David's and, Camp 31 and that kind of thing. But there's a lot of ways that we can figure out to try to help make this thing happen. Listen,
I volunteered that very service.
That's right.
Week. And
I'm with you, Donna. We need to party in July with the pigs. I'm with you. And we're going to be optimistic.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be on the back row with Randy.
She'll start there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's where they started, all right, for sure. But no, you did volunteer. And what I'm saying is that there's got to be some, look, if you are in a business, a retail business or what have you, and locally, we can get these items that people want to buy out to them. We can get payment. Even if you don't have a way to electronically pay, there's a way to get payment.
We got plenty of paper towels that we can write on to keep records.
Sure. I mean, we got shop towels.
we can.
I mean, we can figure that out. Okay. So Uber Eats or Grubhub. I'm gonna tell you this, and I've been saying this. I've been saying this for 2 weeks. What have I been screaming? We need to have a service that does nothing but deliver everything, not just food. If you need to have your, if you need to have something picked up at Marvin's, if you need to have whatever, and I'm just throwing stuff out here. If you want to have if you need a 6-pack of Coke, if you need I don't mean that kind of Coke. If you need a 12-pack of, toilet paper, whatever, we need to figure out how to make that happen where it's just not people sitting at home. Now, let me say this too. I understand there's a lot of people, there you go, call it brute needs. There's a lot of people sitting at home right now, and a lot of people that can't spend money because they, for whatever reason, sad reason during this time, may have been affected by this and have, not being able to work right now. But those are the same people that were working at these places 2 weeks ago that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So if we can get out and make sure that we continue to help these businesses and keep trading and working with these businesses, there's got to be a way to keep all this going. There's got to. And I will tell you, there's some talking going on about how to make some other things happen that maybe would get some people out and about, if virtually, if online, but at least get them out and about, spending money at different merchants, different businesses, and let's see how that turns out. Mm-hmm. So, we are working on that. Good morning, Leroy Jordan.
Morning, Lee.
There's Maury in this morning. Good morning, Maury.
Good morning.
I'll tell you what, there's the wait staff should be able to deliver so they can still, hey, that's a great idea right there, Sarge. I don't know that I've thought about that. I'd like to see you show up as a waiter, DJ.
I'd do it. I would do it.
Would you say, can I get you some ketchup or tartar sauce with that?
I would do it.
I would just enjoy that just because of, I don't know if the food would make it to the house.
It'd be sampled. Quality control.
You open up your burger and the big old chunks out of it. And
wait a minute, I thought a dozen shrimp and you had 12. No, it's 10 and 2 tails. Long drive to Alco.
You can't tell me that wouldn't be awesome now. Somebody open up the box and thinking they're fixing to have a fine, nice meal from,
excuse me, Adam, I'm not trying to complain, but there's been a bite out of my Monroe burger. Let me guess, who was your delivery guy?
Chef Adam. I thought you said it was 6 bones.
Yeah.
There's only 2. What happened to the other 4? Red light. Oh, man. It would be nice if everyone had access to internet outside of Bruton. That's another thing. And I'm glad, Bell, I'm glad you brought that up. There are 10 and 2. Boy, I'm sorry. I will get my thing. I'm gonna hold it together.
We just can.
Yeah.
Constantly lowering the bar.
We are. I don't even know where I was going with this. Getting back to what Randy Bell just said. The biggest part of this right here should be, how do we make sure that everyone in Escambia County, Alabama, or for that matter, locally, but especially our area, Bruton, Pollard, the Appleton, the Repton, Sandcut, what am I missing? Damascus,
Yep,
Johnsonville. I mean, any of these areas. How do we make sure everybody has access to the internet? How do we do that? And I'm going to tell you something. That's something that right now should be blowing people in the face that are in positions to be thinking about this. They should be thinking about that first, because as you see people talking about the need for stimulus, the need for this, you watch all these school systems and schools that are shutting down nationwide, okay? And they say, well, they may be finished for the year. It may be the fall before the seniors find out if they can graduate, okay? Then they say, well, we'll just have them go and do things online. How do you have that happen? How do you make sure when they don't have access to internet at home?
One of the things that always happens with a disaster, and FEMA will coordinate this. When it's all said and done, they have these summits, a lessons learned summit. They find out what went well, and they find out and look at where they came up short. And I have no doubts when this one shakes out and these meetings start taking place, they will look at dark spots in terms of internet access as being a primary point to get corrected in the near future. And I think you'll see legislation to make sure that happens, because it's such an important piece of the communication puzzle.
That should be at the top of the list.
I think
one of the things.
I think it will be.
One of the things should be at the top of the list, because you tell me, you mentioned it the other day. You said my internet was down for some time. Mm-hmm. Okay. If, over in Europe, and I don't want to call the countries because I'm not exactly sure that I know which ones they are, but I will say most of the countries in Europe over there, they provide internet. A few of these countries over there, they provide internet to their to the population. They do it through the street lights.
Oh, really?
Yes. Every street light is an access point.
Wow.
Works off of light. Okay? So it's all fiber optic. So what does that tell you? It can handle as much bandwidth as you need, which means if you had 1 million people on it, it's not going to bog it down. So I'm saying there's a way to do it. We just got to figure it out. And I say figure it out. We've already got it figured out. They just hadn't done it. So, if you're in a position where you're still having to use dial up, I say dial, I don't even know if dial up's available, but internet that is so slow you can't do the basics of schoolwork or things such as that. How can they expect those kids or parents to be able to homeschool and do lessons and things? You and I are both lucky that our better halves and your ex-better half twice
winning
are both teachers. And so they have that ability to sit out. And let me be honest with you, I've done zero in the way of teaching Kinsley a thing during this time. So let me give all that credit to Jesse James, because it's certainly not been me.
Sure.
Okay. I have been absentee most of the time during this, as far as the teaching element goes. But for the people out there that have, not necessarily, Sargi, there are plenty of people who have cell phones that do not have internet access. Mm-hmm. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but it's the truth. But there are a lot of people out there that don't have that luxury that you and I have. So, is Lindsay at home, getting, I don't want to say the education, but the, lessons and things like that? Sure. Sure, But how many of those are out there? You know what I'm saying? It's too big of a business here. It shouldn't cost $7 a month for internet. It shouldn't. Let me say this. I think we've got to the point where internet is not a luxury. Mm-hmm. I think we've got to the point where internet is one of those things, and what's going on right now should prove it. Internet should be available for everyone, no matter where you live, what you do. If you have electricity, if you can get electricity, you ought to be able to get internet.
And I think that'll be a byproduct of this situation. I really do.
Well, I think it should be, so, and I'm not trying to beat on that drum forever. I'm just saying I think it's something that needs to happen. Being
able to communicate and being able to work, in a group setting and not be in the same physical space is a necessity in most cases. And I remember back to Hurricane Ivan, and this will tell you how short-sighted we were. Leading into Hurricane Ivan, we certainly knew that we were going to be in the impact area. We had county-wide meetings.
Good morning, Donnie Crandall.
Every municipality, every entity, every responder. We met probably 4 or 5 times over a 5 or 6 day period leading into Hurricane Ivan. And the one thing we did is we created a master contact list. How do we contact you? Phone number, cell number, fax number, yada, yada, yada. Well, that was great. We had it. Well, guess what happened 10 minutes into that thing?
All that went down.
There was no power.
There was no power.
There was no phones. If you didn't have a Southern link,
that's the only thing that worked.
You were not in the communication loop in the early days, in the early going.
A walkie-talkie.
The power companies, that was their primary mode of transportation, so they had that up. So if you did not have a Southern link, you were out. There was no way to contact you. Of course, the roads were impassable. We couldn't drive over and ask you anything. So if you're sitting here on the east end of the county, wanting to talk to somebody in the west end of the county to get a status report or find out what the needs were, you had to find somebody with a Southern link or you were out. So that was 4 days of planning. And then 10 minutes into it, it's out.
Sure.
So this will be something that will come out of this because we are so dependent on the internet and as a way of communicating and getting information disseminated. That'll come out of this, and there will be a greater effort made to make sure everybody has access to it. I believe that.
You just and saying what you just said brought up another great point in that if there is no communication, and you've heard me say this many times, if you don't have communication, you have nothing.
You have nothing.
You have no way to do any of this that we're doing right now. Well, let me tell you this, and y'all can rest assured of 2 things. Number 1, as long as there's cell service working, we can do what we're doing right here and get information out to people.
Do you know how we got information out in Hurricane Ivan locally?
I don't.
WKNU, their transmitter was knocked out, so they were out for a couple of days. WBJ was the only one that was up in terms of mass communicating. It was a little scratchy, but you could get out information. You could say, these are going to be pickup areas. This is going to be, different resources or whatnot. So being able to communicate is critical to working a situation, especially one as serious as this and as that was.
Sure. Well, I can tell you this, for whatever reason, we don't have a communication problem over here.
No.
Okay.
We're going to be up.
We don't have one.
Yeah.
Secondly, if it comes to where we've got to be over there, we don't have none of that problem either. Because I got 165 foot of it sitting right out back here. Okay. You know what I mean? I don't mean that. I'm just saying we can get information out to people. That's not a problem. Radio stations, whatever, it doesn't matter. We can do all of the above. My big thing is that how do we make, like, as you said, yes, things will come out of this, but how do we make sure everybody's got a Southern link? And I don't mean Southern link. I'm using as I guess a parable to what you're talking about. Internet should not be a luxury anymore. It's got to be something that everybody has access to. Everybody. So we've beat that drum long enough. Let's talk about something more fun.
Okay.
SEC shorts. They copying us, man.
I saw that.
What is that?
I'll tell you what.
I mean, how is it that everything we come up with, somebody else wants to come out and do?
I saw that. I'm like, wow.
Did we not spend a whole day or a whole morning talking about that last week?
T-Bone's the one who actually sent it to me.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And they're up there, anyway, but they think theirs was good. They don't even understand. Just imagine a screen right here. because it's coming.
It's
You're
coming.
going to walk in here the next morning or two, and there's going to be a screen right here.
Okay, we're gonna play.
Oh, we're going to play.
Yeah.
Or you going to pass? I mean, you know, I'm telling you, we're not going to we don't let this thing slow us down any at all. And I promise you, we're gonna get this done.
That's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be a lot of fun. So, Chef Adam said he got to go make the donuts. All right, Chef Adam, let us know how things are going. Good morning, Temple Kinley, Terry Belden.
Good morning,
Terry from watching from the. I guess she's still in the Lone Star State out there.
I think she's in Texas.
Yeah. Good morning, Terry. Susie Bush. Good morning to you. You know, I don't know. I don't know about you, but this will also force you to come up with different ways of cooking if you are cooking some, and think of some good things and recipes and things to do. I never knew Jessie James could come up with as many recipes to cook as she has. I've kind of been shocked. Not shocked. I mean, I guess a bad word, but pleased. Let me say that. You know, there's always a way to cook different things, different ways. Like you said, with the freezer full of fish and deer meat,
Yeah.
you know, you can figure things out for sure. But so when you were out riding the golf cart, was it almost like what's that movie? Apocalypse Now? I mean, did you keep hearing?
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
I saw a little activity down at the YMCA ballpark. There's a couple of young men down there still working it out. I saw a little activity at the high school. And other than that, in that perimeter of town, I didn't see a whole lot going on.
Did you make the big loop, or did
I made
you just
the big loop. I went up around the high school, down to the Bruton Heights Shopping Center, back over across McMillan, back up Bonita, stopped and got me a Twister at Mark's.
Hey, I don't blame you.
Heath Bar.
Oh man, Eminem and Heath mixed.
It was, yeah, but I didn't see a ton of traffic, and I did not see a ton of activity.
Correct me if I'm wrong. As long as we're just in groups of 10, are we still okay?
That's the last report I saw.
So we can have gatherings of 10. Now, how far do those groups of 10 have to be apart from each other?
I think it's 6 feet.
Okay. So if you take the square footage of a place and you break out how many square feet you have, which will tell you how many blocks of 10 feet or of 6 feet you have if you put a group of 10 people and made that perimeter, we ought to be able to figure that out to have I don't know if that'd be good to do just simply because the government say, well, y'all probably shouldn't have done that. And I think Governor Kay Ivey said you can't have gatherings over 25 people.
Yeah.
But if you got 100 people that shows up at one of these restaurants wanting to eat outside, can they stop that?
I don't know. I think it's a fluid situation. I mean, the restrictions and the request seem to be moving further out there with each passing day. I think what is kosher today will not be kosher this Friday.
Right.
Per the request.
I think you're right. You know, and look, that's the thing. And I think we want to make that real clear. None of us know what's going to happen from hour to hour. You know, we just don't. I did see, I think I read over the weekend where, you know, state of Alabama came out and said there was going to be some assistance to these small, I may have already said that, to small businesses. Here's my question. There hasn't been any assistance to that Conecuh River fishing pier.
I haven't seen any.
So I'm going to be honest with you. I am not too, what's the term I'm looking for? I'm not too amped up on them being able to get assistance out to these businesses if they can't get assistance to a bridge to nowhere.
The bridge is not going to be fixed. That is I think that you can cash that one in.
So Cindy Lou made a good point. How many different groups of 10 should you associate with per day each week? I don't know.
I want to share a story and a thought if I can.
Well, please do. Is this a candlelight? I mean, is this a campfire story?
No.
Or?
This is kind of. I want everybody to understand first and foremost. I've got a pinch of conspiracy theorist in me. A pinch. I'm going to go back to 2005. This is, of course, after Hurricane Ivan in 2004. In 2005, FEMA, in partnership with State Alabama EMA, wanted to have a pandemic exercise in our area. We held it at Porch. This is a true story. I can't remember, after Hurricane Ivan, that became the big scare or the big concern for emergency response was a pandemic issue. So they created an exercise down at Porch. It started with a make-believe mass media blast of XYZ virus has impacted the area. And everybody there that lived on the reservation needed to report to the gymnasium for medication, inoculation, whatever, however they were going to dispense it.
Sure.
So we were there in an observatory capacity watching, and 300 or 400 people show up, and in the gym they've got a triage area, they've got a decon area, they have some empty cardboard boxes that were seen as that was the medicines, the placebos or whatnot, and there's people up there handing them out, whatever. Well, they have this thing diagrammed out on the grounds where people move from one station to the other, working through that process. And I remember standing there with a couple of the guys from Clanton, and they were just blown away at how it was flowing so easily and readily. I mean, people were working through there. They were getting their medicine. They were leaving. Everything was great. And I looked around and I asked the head guy, I asked him a simple question. I said, "Where is security?" And he said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "If you think for 1 second that people, rightfully or wrongfully, may believe they have to have medicine to live, they're not going to stand patiently in line to receive said medicine. If they're going to fight," I didn't say this at the time, but my point to kind of reinforce that, if they're going to fight for toilet paper, what do you think they're going to do for life-saving medicines? They're going to kill.
Sure.
So anyway, that kind of started another conversation, and they talked about National Guard having to be brought up to provide security and to assist local law enforcement, whatnot. Long story short, an exercise like that, it's almost impossible to plan for real world scenarios because the variables are endless.
Yeah, there's no way.
There's no way you can prepare for everything.
Right.
So I'm saying all that to say this. I think the coronavirus is absolutely real. I think the coronavirus is absolutely scary in terms of what it can do to people who contract the disease. But I also think in situations like this is the only time that you could have an applicable drill element associated with it. I believe this in my heart. I think that they are seeing how they can shut down a country effectively. I think it's been very methodical. I've actually been impressed by it, to be honest with you. And I think the National Guard is going to be called up. I think whether they're needed or not, they're going to be called up just to see how it works, how it interacts with day-to-day living. And then when you come back and you have this lessons learned at the end, they say, this worked good. We need to shore up this. This was an issue. This is something we didn't address at all. So I do think, and that's the only way to effectively train is in a real world, real time scenario. So I do think there is a drill component to this. And I'm not saying that to say that coronavirus is not real. It is real. You better wash your hands every chance you get. You better social distance every chance you get. But I do think there are some pieces of this puzzle that have a drill element to it.
I don't think there's any doubt. I think they're looking right now. I will say this. I saw a headline last night where they said the federal government was looking to outline what the National Guard needed to do in New York and Washington and Los Angeles, or maybe California and maybe Chicago. Now, does that mean that that's going to happen nationwide? I don't know. But
I think it will.
Well, if it does, then, we'll just handle it as it comes. But let me ask you this question. Back when in Ivan, when y'all were handing out all the ice and the MREs and things, was toilet paper an issue?
I don't remember it being an issue.
What made toilet paper the issue this time? Was it because everybody said it was being shipped out of China, and that's why everybody should run down and buy all the toilet paper you could buy? I mean, I can tell you one thing that's going to come out of this, and you can mark this down, and I may be wrong, but I don't think I am. We're going to be a whole lot less dependent on other countries for things when all this is said and done. What do you want to bet?
I don't disagree with
I don't
that.
think politics has a part in that right there. I think that's just a matter of just telling it like it is. We shouldn't have to worry about other countries to get medicine. We shouldn't have to worry about other countries to get toilet paper or whatever the case may be. I don't know that we do have to worry about other countries to get toilet paper. I just know that, that's a lot of people have said that. And I don't know that I actually, that to be true or not true. I've heard a lot of people say that's why that people rushed out to buy up all this toilet paper and things. I still don't get the whole water thing either. I mean, my thing is we grow up drinking out of a tap. As long as you got tap water, creek water, whatever, what are you worried about?
I don't get it.
I mean, you've been at Edgewood. I've been at Edgewood. How many times you drank that water down there? Many times you could. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't remember it being an issue during Ivan. And Ivan was the only thing we can really equate this type of thing to, correct?
Yeah.
So are we on the verge of seeing FEMA roll into a place like Bruton and set up out in parking lots and start handing things out like that? Because let me tell you this, that's all well and good, but until they start handing out money to people for people to start spending and getting and putting in the economy, I don't know how much of that's going to help people right now.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, I don't think so.
No, listen, I'm not for handing out free money. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we got to do something to get people spending money again. I mean, we just do. So
Consumer confidence.
is it probably at an all-time low?
I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be. Temple Kinley says she thinks it started when there was an actual shortage in Australia. I've heard that their only supplier is China. I'm going to tell you this, and I'm not jumping on China here because I don't want to seem like I'm, but if China did what they say they did, which is cover this up, what do you think? Do you think China ever recovers from this?
Probably.
Because people are fickle and just don't they don't have a memory that lasts real long. I just don't know how we could continue to keep depending on a place like that for all of our basically daily needs, if you will, after this.
I don't disagree with you. When you talk about producing product and the cost that said product is produced at, a lot has to happen for us to get in line doing it the way they do it.
As far as you talking about pricing of of these products, well, but listen, here's the thing: they're over there paying people 6 cents an hour.
That's what I'm saying.
To make this kind of thing, okay? But at some point, we've all got to back up and realize, hey, look, that's all well and good. This contributed. They not contributed. They started from what we're told. They started this whole thing and then covered it up and then said, guess what we're going to do? We're going to cut off y'all's drug supply because we don't like what y'all telling people about us. Now, I don't know about you. I could care less what they like. I mean,
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I just know that when things get back to normal, greed will sit back in.
People care about things with their with their pocketbook. Exactly. I agree with that. And listen, let me tell you something. They also go to the polls and vote with their pocketbooks. But I don't know. It's just and I agree with that, Christy Miller. People have become too used to having the cheapest thing available.
That's it right there.
Yeah, it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well put, Christy.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you this. I don't have a problem with Trump or whoever saying this is a Chinese,
China.
Whatever.
China.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it did start there, did it not?
That's what I understand.
Yeah. I'm not being racist. I don't mean it that way. I'm just saying if that's where it did start, then hey, it is a Chinese virus. So all I can tell you is this, we've got to make sure and be mindful of the guidelines set in place, but we've got to try everything we can to continue as business as usual.
We have to.
And I don't know how easy that is.
It's hard. I mean, it's hard.
And it is, but I still believe that we can continue to do what we're doing, and keep doing it better.
You know, one of the concerns that I had, and it crossed my mind this weekend, my mother.
Good morning, Paul Crumpton.
Came in town Saturday for a short time. I'm not showing any symptoms. I feel great. I didn't know if I'd come in contact with anybody that may have had it, and I was very leery giving her a hug. I did not want her to take it, number one, with her, but two, back to Monroeville with her husband, and he's 88 years old. And all of a sudden, have I passed on? You know, that crossed my mind. We certainly hugged a couple of different times. It didn't stop us, but that was something I was thinking about, is have I somehow contracted it, and did I just pass it along? Good
morning, Tracy Miller. If it comes to China, life as we knew it is over, guys. I hate to say it, but that's the truth. Well, I can tell you this. I think that once this is all said and done, China won't be near as big a player as they have been. I don't know that China's economy, I mean, ours is struggling as it is. Theirs was struggling before this. I don't know if their economy can make it. I mean, you get an economy shut down. Let me tell you, I got two words for it: Soviet Union. You remember what happened to them? And that was all about, I think that started with Chernobyl. You know, I think their problem started there, but it didn't stop.
Yeah.
You know, and the next thing you know, they're gone. They're out. So, you know, it's just the way it is. So good to see you, Paul. I don't know if you're across the big pond over there, but if you are, man, stay safe and stay away from folks for sure. And it goes back to Susie Bush was talking about the malaria drug. That drug's been approved by the FDA for 70 plus years. I don't know why they're not giving it out to people.
I don't know.
I mean, if they've proven that it worked,
yeah,
and they said those French scientists proved it worked, why not give it out to people? But we're asking a lot of questions we don't have answers for.
No, I don't think anybody does.
I would tell you this. Let me ask you this. Should we get in touch with the state's superintendent schools for the state? Should we get in touch with the state school superintendent and maybe have a phone conversation with him to talk about what may be going on school-wise, school year with the rest of the school year? Do you think we ought to try to make that happen?
I think it'd be great. I don't know that he knows much more than we do. I'm sure he knows a little. If I understand this correctly, this is our area's spring break this week.
Yes.
Okay, so we were scheduled to be out this week, so nothing's lost this week.
So today's the 23rd, am I correct?
Yep.
Or today's the 23rd. So next Monday be the 30th. But they're not scheduled to go back to school.
That's where I was going. What we know we're out until what, April 6th?
6th.
And then they're going to reevaluate from there to see if they go back on the 9th.
Yeah, and I would think they'd have to be reevaluating before the 6th.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We know we're out through the 6th.
Sure.
They've made that decision,
right?
That's something you can take to the bank. They're out through the 6th.
Right.
So in that scenario, there's going to be one full week lost to school.
Yes.
Yeah. And like I said, this is such a fluid situation with things changing. I don't know. It's dicey.
Temple just made a great point. This is culture shock for a lot of people. We have become so used to things being so convenient. But I'm going to tell you something else I'm not sure this is going to do.
Good Lord. PW's in Italy.
Wow.
That's not the place to be.
Well, if he's in the military, he don't have a choice.
Oh. Yeah, he has no choice.
He has no choice but to be
careful,
there.
My friend. For real.
He has no choice but to be there.
Wow.
So, Susie Bush says April 15th in Florida.
Okay.
Majority of school systems in Alabama are on spring break this week. Yeah, that's right. But I think another thing is coming from this is how much more we used to call social distancing anti-social. Now it's social distancing. How much more of this is going to be, are we going to see of social distancing / anti-social after all this is even fixed and done and everybody's fine and it's all blown over, you already have people that don't know how to communicate except this way. I mean, think about it.
Well, let me ask you this. All the college students are taking their classes online. When this thing plays out and it's over with, and them working towards their degree was not impeded in any way by taking classes online, what's going to stop that from becoming the preferred method of getting your degree? And all of a sudden, instead of it costing you $25,000 a year to go to Auburn or Alabama or Troy or wherever, you can do it for pennies on the dollar to do it online.
I think you just hit it on the head. I think that's exactly what the preferred method of going to school's about to be. And I'm going to tell you this, I'm not sure that the preferred method of going to K through 12 may not turn into that.
I'm going to that next. In Alabama, with public education being where it is in terms of performance across the board, I'm not talking about our local area. Our local schools are great schools.
Sure. Our
kids have an experience that is not that other kids in other areas, mostly the bigger cities, don't have.
Sure.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying all that to say this. You know how many school shootings you're going to have in online classes?
Zero.
None.
You
know how much bullying you're going to have in online classes?
None.
So, I mean, what does this do moving forward? I mean, I don't think you can take away from the experience our kids have here locally in terms of learning, in terms of social development, in terms of extracurricular activities to participate in. But I do think it's going to modify the way that we educate our kids.
Well, look at the school that Probst was going to be the coach of and step down up from. They don't even have a building.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were about to play a national football schedule. Mm-hmm. So my question is this, is if you homeschool, and maybe Jesse James or one of these teachers in here can tell us, if you homeschool, are you affiliated with a certain school to homeschool? Meaning, if you homeschool...
you can. Tim Tebow did.
Okay.
Tim Tebow was homeschooled, but he played high school football for the local team. In Alabama right now, you can't. If you homeschool, you don't play AHSAA.
You cannot participate. Well, I can tell you that's about to change.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Let me tell you why. After this, they will not. Some lawyer get hold of that, and they will be finished.
Yeah.
They will be finished.
I don't disagree.
I mean, there's no way after this that they'll be able to say, no, you know what, I'll tell you what, DJ, you're not going to be able to play because you homeschool. Well, guess what? I'm homeschooling because of what we just went through. Mm-hmm. You know what a judge or a jury is going to do? Bam, you're going to be out. What is this? In Escambia County, you can't homeschool for free. He didn't say you couldn't homeschool for free. Did you? You didn't just say that?
Mm-mm. I don't think
you can play sports if you were in certain programs.
You can't play in Bruton City Schools. You can't play at T.R. Miller if you're not in the school system.
Yeah.
I don't know about the county schools. At T.R. Miller, if you're not enrolled, you're not an eligible participant.
Okay. So let's speak to that for a second. Before this happened, what was your opinion on that?
It was mixed. We homeschooled Stokes when he was in fourth grade.
Okay.
There was a situation we just had to do that, but we had the luxury. You know, Heather was a teacher,
sure.
So she was able to. We partnered up with the church here in Bruton. It has all the grass on it. What's it there? Is he going down towards the post office?
Yeah. Oh, good gracious! You talking about that's got the green?
Yeah, yeah. All the prom pictures are always taken.
Right.
Out of it.
What's the name of that church?
Universalist, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Well, anyway, if you, they have a program there, and like once a week, you would do most of your schooling at your house at your own pace. There was a curriculum, but they would have at the time it was Megan Brantley who would come in one day a week and teach art. So all the kids in this program would go there and take art. There was a recreational type program that met one day a week also.
Cornerstone.
But
thank you, Don.
That's it. But the program itself was great. One of the things that you saw was, when you have a smaller group, one-on-one, you can move at a much quicker pace. And Stokes was able to do things in fourth grade that was actually the majority of his curriculum in fifth grade when we went back to Bruton City School System. Not pointing the finger at anybody. It was just a great program.
Sure.
But, one of the hangups when we were getting our information during that time was when he became the age to play school sports, he would not have been an eligible participant to play middle school basketball or middle school football or whatnot. And we had no hesitation. We knew we were going back in. We had a unique situation that led us to that. There was no question about that. But yeah, if you're in Bruton City, if you're not in the schoolhouse, you're not in the band, you're not on the cheerleader, and you're certainly not on one of the athletic teams.
So, but now, since this has happened, what is your feelings on that?
That's what I'm saying. There's going to be a lot of conversations about a lot of different things. And me personally, I would hate to see the traditional classroom setting go away. I just don't think that you can, from a social aspect, I don't think you can reproduce it at the homeschool level. I loved all the teachers. I just think it's part of the learning process, not necessarily a particular academic subject, but moving in a herd, working with people that you may not like, working with people that you may not get along with. I think that's part of growing. I mean, we don't live in an isolated world. You can't homework. Not everybody can't. I mean, you have to get out there and be able to work with others and move with others.
Well, I mean, it's working well right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to make light of that.
Sure.
What I'm saying is, you just brought up a great point.
Yeah.
We can't do that at a lot of these things at home. Mm-hmm. And look at what's going on right now, and look at how well it's working for people. Mm-hmm. It's not. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think it's working well. You may have a different opinion of that, but I don't think it's working well.
No, I do not.
I do believe that what you just said is correct. I think that you have to. I think you have to back up and look at things that have happened and say, okay, what is best for my child, or what is best for my situation, or what is best for our situation. But you can't create, or you can't recreate the social aspect of going to school and that kind of thing at home. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can. If you're sitting in front of a screen with, you got 25 other virtual classmates, I don't think you can recreate that.
I don't see how you could.
I mean, I don't either. So, I agree with Lauren Wallace. Being able to develop those social skills is very important. Very important. So, I agree with that, Raj. It would subconsciously have a lasting effect on handshakes and hugs. I think it's going to have a lasting effect on a lot of things. Mm-hmm. But again, I want to say this. Go back to the flu. I don't know that, because you can't read enough about it, but I don't know that shut the world down. Maybe it did. But nothing like polio. We talked about that last week. They found a vaccine for that. Bam.
Yep.
You don't even talk about that anymore. You don't think about that anymore.
Is it still even a disease?
It is, but you don't hear about it because it's just been gone and eradicated for so long. So, I'm telling you, I think that's where we're going to be with this in the not too distant future. And I really believe that. Now, how long, and that's the question, how long does it take for our country to bounce back?
Well, once again, I don't think you can speculate on that until it's over.
Well, no, you can't.
I mean, if it's over this Friday, then I think you bounce back fairly quickly. If it's over with August 1st, then
who knows? You
may bounce like a flat basketball.
That's right. Well, and that's the thing, my thing is, I think we need to try to get some local people back on again, to talk about the things that are being done locally. I think we need to try to get maybe on the phone, maybe get like I said, the state superintendent maybe online and see if we can't get him to kind of let us know what's happening and how it's happening. We need to maybe get, maybe if we could get the governor online and see what she says about it, and somebody from her office, but why not her? She visits down this way frequently. So, didn't she grow up in Wabeek or Canoe or somewhere around that area? I think she
had a family connection down there. Somebody shared that with us a while back. I can't remember who it was.
I think she did. So look at that. That's a great point. We also have to teach our kids, they have to have the ability to work for someone else other than their parents. As a manager in a healthcare setting, I see so many folks who just don't understand chain of command. That's a great point, Ron. A great point. So, her college roommate is from that area.
I knew there was a connection of some sort.
More than a dozen states have issued lockdown orders.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I can't tell you. I mean,
you can't leave your property?
I don't know how they can say that.
When they put it on lockdown, if I want to get in my car and drive around town, am I going to be pulled over for that? Are people being pulled over in these areas where they are locked down?
I can tell you what I read this morning. I read this morning where in Pennsylvania, if you are considered a non-essential business and you're still open, they're starting to go around and find those businesses this morning.
Well, I can tell you, if push comes to shove, I watched Ocean's 11. I'll just pull a Billy Martin.
Hey, listen, that's great. That's fantastic. Why wouldn't you?
Jesse James looks just like Julia Roberts.
Yeah. Man, listen. We can pass her off for that.
Let's get big hat.
Yeah, no problem. We just don't need to run into what's his name? Bruce. Yeah, we don't need to do that already. How about that? If you're not a renter or resident, you're turned around just like after the storm on Navarre Beach.
Right now?
Right now is what Jesse James just said.
If you're not a renter or a resident?
In Italy, we can only leave the house to go to work, grocery store, or hospital.
So, I mean, my question is, and I'm not trying to, if you're on the road, do they pull you over and question you if you're going to the grocery store?
Man, I have no clue. I don't know what that, obviously it means you're supposed to stay your butt at home. I'm not sure what that,
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not sure. That's a great, this is another reason why we need to have the governor on to ask these questions.
Yeah. I'm shocked that Navarro's already doing that.
Let me say this. I was trying to figure out how Panama City Beach was keeping their beaches open when Florida, when DeSantis had come out and said, the governor said, all beaches are shut down. And we got reports, you did, was that Thursday or Friday, that Panama City Beach was still, how is that possible when you got the governor saying, what have you? How about this right here? Kay Ivey authorized the activation of the National Guard this morning. I'm not sure of all the details. I haven't seen that.
If you're at Navarro and you went and got in your boat and started cruising, would you be questioned by the Coast Guard?
I don't know that they've issued anything to do with water travel. I call it water travel, but being on the water, I've not seen where anyone has said anything about going and not being able to go get on a boat and go somewhere. I mean, think about it. Well, if we have to go to fishing.
That's why I was curious if the fishing fleet was still going out every morning.
Now that, I don't know. That is, look at this. What's Paul say? If caught out doing otherwise, you could be fined up to, is that $600? Rubles? I don't know what that is. Paul, what is that? Is that sick? Yeah, and yes, they have random roadblocks and will ask you where you're going. You can't fool around with them Italians, man. You know, they got that mafia thing going on over there. They'll have you knocked off.
They get whacked.
Yeah, they'll whack your butt for fooling around over there.
Wow.
That's crazy. Good morning, JoJo Holmes, Charlie Clark, Catherine McMillan Cope. Good morning, Catherine. Catherine down around that
my question for
beach area.
I have a question for Paul.
Okay.
Paul, in Italy, with them having the lockdown, if you will, in place, are they able to do that with just their local law enforcement, or do they have the military aiding them in enforcing that?
600 euros. I don't know what that equates to in dollars.
Yeah. If you heard that, Paul, I'd be interested in that.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Are they able to enforce that with just their local law enforcement, or do they have military personnel in place helping with those efforts? I would think that would be outside the capability of local law enforcement.
I would think so too. Carol says boats can go, boats cannot tie up to each other.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay.
You can tell we're not very cultured, Raj, and we don't get out much because I didn't know what that sign stood for. Euros. I'll have to remember that. But that's a great question. I don't know. Local law enforcement.
Local law enforcement. Okay.
That's we read a book about this in school. It's called 1984.
Yep.
Did we not?
We sure did.
I'm not trying to be conspiracy theorist. I'm just saying we read a book about this. Mm-hmm. Who wrote that book?
Was it Orwell?
Orwell.
Yeah.
He spoke about this a long time ago.
Yep.
So
he wrote that book. And what year did he write the book?
Oh, it was
like in the late 60s
yes,
or early 70s?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's right. So and that's another great point Ray Stewart made, is that a lot of people are really short-tempered right now. Be nice. We're all going through this. I'm going to tell you, that's easy to say, harder to do.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with people who rolls up with a buggy with 32 packs of toilet paper, 22 things of hand sanitizer. And when you look and you see that you've got, I want to say this was, I can't remember where they showed this was at. Was it Andalusia maybe? Where you had healthcare professionals, nurses, making masks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because they can't get them. $647 fine.
Okay.
Would you want to be fined $647?
No, sir.
Just for easing out to the marks?
Nope.
That'd be considered groceries, would it not?
I would think so. Dairy.
I don't know how they could say otherwise. Then again, I don't know that I've ever been to Italy to tell you. So, well, hey, listen, right now we're trying to stay on top of things. Kristen Lee said they needed police at the Walmart and Atmore for bread delivery. Wow.
Gosh, I hate hearing stuff like that.
I don't understand that. I did not see that, but that's crazy.
I think there's a chance we get shut down.
Talking about here?
Yeah, we'll see how this week progresses.
You talking about the show?
Yeah, like me driving, not the show, but like me being able to drive over here.
Man, this is essential.
Me being able to, so I may be moving in. Is the little house open?
Yeah, it is. This is essential. This is an essential
I'll tell you
deal.
what, and I'm sure Jesse James won't mind. I'll just throw me together a bag of stuff this afternoon. And Jesse, if you're making hamburger helper tonight, I love it. But I'll be here from anywhere from 7 to 70 days. That'll go over big. Oh, she's going to love me being here.
Well,
she's going to love it. Where are the boys going to be?
What's that?
Where are the boys going to be?
Oh, they're going to be. Trust me, they're in there. Joshua Gibson said, we were told one loaf per person at our grocery store and signs are up. I saw last night where they had this was in California, they had a security, I guess maybe policeman, I'm not sure, set up outside the doors. They were letting two at a time go in. When two people would come out of the grocery store, when two people go in, and they had a list up of only how many of these certain things you could buy at a time.
Really?
I saw that. They did. How about this? John Blair said they put bread out at Food Giant and Century the other day, and in 30 minutes it was all gone. They have a 2-pack max on bread. Supposed to go to the nearest store. They'll check to see where you live, and if you're not headed in the right direction, well, you can imagine how that's going to go. That's in Italy. Now, does work count, Paul? Can you go to work? I know you said groceries, hospital, and maybe you said work.
Work.
Was it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So that's, I'm going to tell you, man, that's crazy. But who was that just said that Louisiana?
I didn't see that one.
Kane Dickey. Kane said Louisiana governor said that his state is surpassing Italy at the pace of the spread. Have you checked the website you've been checking this morning?
I have not checked
to see what
it'll be updated about 9 o'clock this morning. I usually check about 9, then I'll post it.
Did I see that?
I think we're going to be up around 150 cases, confirmed cases in Alabama.
150.
I think that's going to be the updated number somewhere in that area.
How many people in the state of Alabama?
I don't know.
You said there's 38,000 in Escambia County, Alabama?
In Escambia County, yeah.
And
no confirmed
and
cases.
Still no confirmed cases.
No, but testing just began. I mean, I think they're expecting some test results to come back that may or may not show otherwise. But
so we've had no testing up until this point.
I think the end of last week.
Okay. 157 cases.
Okay, 157, yeah.
There you go. You got journalist credentials. Matter of fact, you were headed to SEC Media Days, and what happened? Did they canceled them? Because this was the first year you were going to be able to.
That's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence. Somebody ratted me out.
What were you going to do?
I was going to put the little angry elf on blast.
What was going to be the first? I want to know, what was your first question?
I've got it ready for him.
Let's hear it.
I'm going to say, Coach, got a question to comment. Knowing what you know now, if you had the quarterback controversy with Jalen and Tua to do over again, how would you handle that differently with regards to showing Jalen the respect that he deserved? And then I'd have dodged the Pepsi can.
The cola.
And it'd have been on.
Yeah.
He just started blasting me. And I said, no, Coach, I'm here to do a job. It's a legitimate question. Answer the question. And then I'd have probably had one hand here and one hand there, and out I go.
For what, though? That's a legitimate question, is it not?
I'd have got him.
Is that not legitimate?
I'm going to get him.
Is that not a legitimate question?
I think it's fair. I'm a fair guy.
Did it not play out that Jalen was a better QB than the one-shot bandit that came in and
you saw it,
did what he did against Georgia?
You saw it.
I mean, the first two were doinks, were they not?
I think it speaks for itself. Speaks for itself.
So, I don't know how they test. Do you know how they test? What tests they give you? Do they take blood? Like, what do they do? I don't know the answer to that question.
I have no idea.
Maybe someone in the group here can tell us, or that's watching, can tell us what that involves. I know when they test for the flu, they stick something about halfway down your nose, about down the back of your throat, and swab that thing or what have you. I don't know how they test for this. And your interview would be, no, I think it'd be just getting started. Nose swab. Uncomfortable is what Raj said. I'm going to tell you, Raj made a great gesture
he did.
Last week, talking about, if they needed beds or what have you, he had plenty.
That's probably my greatest concern locally, is that if and when someone in our area contracts the disease or the virus, that there's going to be a run on the medical facilities. If there's a run on bread, then there's probably going to be a run on healthcare. And we heard the lady speak. There's 98 beds, best case scenario, available.
Well, let's get off on something real quick.
Okay.
You brought it up last week. I think you did, and I think it's been a great thing. I want to say thank you to all of the people that have taken pictures and posted in the Drive Time group when you've been out trading with these local businesses. And
I've enjoyed seeing those.
I've enjoyed seeing them as well. I think everybody deserves credit for that. And I can tell you that we certainly appreciate what you're doing. We want to encourage people to still get out and do that. Understand there may be a reason behind us telling you that you need to do that.
To pay attention.
You need to pay attention. There may be some other information coming this week too that may even help people make that. And the reason why we hadn't already kind of come out and talked about it is there's this fluid situation. We don't know from 1 hour to the next or the day from day what may be out there, what we can do, what we can't do. We don't know. But I can tell you that there are some things in the works to try and help make that happen, to give people incentive, if you will, to either get out and trade with them or do it online or whatever the case may be. So Raj said 131 beds ready to go in space for 300. Well, I'm going to tell you something. That makes me feel better about our local hospital, because remember, we were told last week they had at best case scenario, they had 49 beds. Is the Golden Egg quarantined? Asking for a friend. Should I tell people this or not? You know what I'm about to tell. Do you think I should tell this or not?
Well, now you've got me interested and curious.
Is that a yes or a no?
A yo?
All right. So if I'm being honest,
Appreciate your honesty.
the Golden Egg is hid
Really?
and has been
The Golden Egg is out and about.
well before all this craziness took place.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
well before.
Okay.
But it's hid. So for those of y'all wondering about the Golden Egg is hid.
It's out.
It's out and has been. So do what you will with that information. Am I telling people to get out and do this? I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just volunteering that information. And we may have some ways for you to participate in trying to be part of or finding or getting hold of or whatever you want to call it, the Golden Egg, very soon. You need to like and share all of these shows. Like and share them, like and share them, like and share them. Trust me, you really want to do that. You want to take all the pictures you can take, even if somebody's delivering it to you. Listen, I don't care if somebody delivers to your home. If it's, Domino's, if it's David's, if it's, Camp 31, whoever. If they deliver to your home and you're doing business with them, trust me when I say take a picture and put it in the drive time group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is that? Pay attention. I can assure all of you that you're going to want to make sure that you do what we're talking about. The more pictures you take, the more trading that you do. Let's just leave it at that for right now.
Yeah.
How about that? Is that good?
Trade locally every chance you get.
Yeah. Yeah. Safely trade.
Safely.
Hashtag Yo Pandemonium. Yo Gabba Gabba.
There you go.
Oh, well, look, at the end of the day, we need to realize too that we're all in this thing together. We've got to all join together, figure out how to make it through this together, and we will. We will come out on top. I saw where Hillary Harrington at Harrington's Flowers going to be making red, white, and blue. Did you see that? The bows?
Yeah, but then I saw the Oreo birthday cake she made for Harrington. And I was a little more interested in that. My goodness. Did you see that?
I did.
Oh, my gosh. I saw breakfast, lunch, and supper just right there.
Tallulah Bells open at 10-ish.
There it is.
They're delivering.
So,
DJ, when you need that little spaghetti strap halter top,
hey.
I mean, that sounds like you, doesn't it?
All me.
We do have a trailer that we can roll up some of these businesses with and set up and do some events.
Why do you think about that? We sure do. Sure do.
And that's social distancing because we're groups of two.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we were not think about doing some of that.
I didn't even think about that.
I've just thought about it.
Yeah.
We need to think about that more. I'm not sure that we shouldn't do that. I will say this, maybe today, tomorrow, more to come on what we were just talking about.
Okay.
Do you remember at the fair store, the machine that had the goose in it?
I do.
And every now and again, the golden egg would pop out?
Mm-hmm.
Were you like me and that the only thing in life that mattered was getting hold of that golden egg?
Certainly wanted one.
Did you ever get one?
I don't remember ever getting one.
I don't remember ever getting one either.
Don't remember ever getting one.
I remember the fair store. I remember going in there and trying to get them.
The Lazarus on the fair store.
That's right.
I remember when they had their going out of business sale.
I just don't remember ever being able to get hold of one of those great golden eggs. I wish I could find one of those machines.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be awesome to have one of those?
That'd be a good find.
It really would. You know, Jesse James found a Mr. Microphone. I don't know how she did it, but she did. That's where it all started
That's where
for me.
it all started for you.
That's right. Got me in a lot of trouble. Let me tell you what you don't need to do. You don't need to take out WKNU when you're about 12 years old.
Probably not a great idea.
Not a good idea.
Sounded good at the time, though, didn't it?
Well, I thought it was a good idea. AT&T will be open 10 to 6, but our doors will be locked and allow one person employee in the store at a time. Red Goose shoes. When you bought a pair of Red Goose shoes, you got to pull the neck. Is that how it worked?
I think that's how it
See,
worked.
I can't remember. I just remember standing over there trying to get one of those things. I just don't remember that. We could practice social distancing with that thing. We could set that thing up. We could move it around every day.
Yeah.
Set it up, have it at different businesses. You get to go by, and if the golden egg pops out, bam, you might be a winner.
Red Goose shoes came to be known as heads in our era.
For those of y'all that don't know what heads are, another name for them was Cougar. Faux Adidas.
Oh, Adidas.
Did you partake of heads?
I had some heads. I had some heads in the day.
Yeah, they weren't that bad. You just got clowned.
One size fit all.
Yeah. If you didn't have that swoosh on, you kind of got clowned back in those days, didn't you?
Yeah.
What'd Kevin McAllister say about that? A man could get beat up at school for going to school wearing some stuff like that. Literal tailgate event while in your truck bed parked 6 feet apart. You know, somebody brought up, I think it was Raj, brought up a while ago, now would be a great time for the drive-in theater. Of course, I don't know about the gathering part of the 25 people or more. You know what I'm saying? But if you're 6 feet apart, does that still apply?
I don't know.
I don't either. One person per employee. I got you. Listen, take pictures and put them in the drive time group. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. For everybody watching, you need to let everyone know we're very serious when we talk about this. We didn't just come up with that for any reason. And there's always a reason for everything. And we meant what we said when we said take pictures and put them in that drive time group. It probably will come back to help you.
Pay attention.
I mean, it probably will.
Pay
You
attention.
never know when that rascally, whatever, Riddler might show up and put it out there. Because like I said, I'm going to say it again. The golden egg is out.
There you have it.
You heard it from the horse's mouth, if you want to call it that. Yes, it applies. And they're starting to find out in counties like for violate applies. I don't know what applies what. Talking about the gatherings. Have you seen on Facebook those folks in Atlanta that made that song about the coronavirus?
I don't know if
They all got masks on and
No.
that.
I haven't seen it.
You need to look that up.
Okay.
It's not something we could play here on the show, but it is hilarious.
I have to look it up.
Absolutely
seen it.
hilarious. Yeah, the gatherings. Well, okay. Let me ask you this too, and this is a serious question. I want to say that the food that I've eaten that was made for carryout, maybe it's just because I'm willing it to be this way, is every bit as good or better as when you go in and sit down.
Oh, it's been fantastic.
I mean, it has been off the chain.
It's been fantastic.
It really
Hadn't
has.
sacrificed any
No.
quality of food.
No, not at all. Not at all. So I'm gonna tell you this, and I'll tell you another thing. We called David's Friday evening probably 30 times. The phone was busy for at least 30 minutes.
That's a good thing.
That was a good thing. And I don't think it's because they took it off the hook.
I like hearing that.
That's a fact. We called and could not get through. So JT.
What's up, Blade?
Blade in this morning. Kathy Mack. Good morning, Kathy Mack.
Morning, Kathy.
So, I think there's an opportunity for all of us to keep doing what we're doing, stay safe doing it, mindful of the guidelines put in place, but we also got to keep on keeping on. And we got to help check on each other and keep pushing each other, to try to carry on with life as normal as it can be during this time. I don't know if there is a normal anymore, is it?
It's not normal. It is certainly not normal.
I mean, will there ever be a normal anymore?
Yeah.
But I mean, do you think things are going to change from this to where we'll ever get back to like we were prior?
Well, I think this is a game changer for sure.
I mean, is this a BC AD type thing?
I think this is a game changer. I think things will be looked at differently moving forward. I think things will be done differently moving forward. But that's not necessarily a horrible thing. I'm not saying that like
I think it's a good thing.
in a half empty glass scenario.
Yeah, I
but
think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. I really do. I think that I still think we need to get some more local healthcare officials on and get them back in here with us and let us know what's went on from last week to this week.
Good information is good to have. That's the primary reason we came back was to make sure that we were disseminating good information for the people of our area.
That's right.
So we would know how to act accordingly and what to expect and how to prepare and all those good things. So yeah, we need to, if there's any suggestions of who we should contact or need to contact to get to come on, or if you have somebody that you think would be a great guest, we'd like to hear that as well, because this is a community service thing that we're trying to do here in terms of getting good information out.
Yes. Anyone that knows someone in a position to get out good information, put them in touch with David or myself. Mm-hmm. We'd love to talk to them and maybe get them in or get them on the phone or, what have you. So I did get that game, Naomi. Thank you. Working on it as we speak. So, but we do need to get some healthcare people in and talk a little bit more about things that have changed from last week to this week. Because as you said, it's a fluid situation. It's changing every day. We need to find out what's going on.
I'll reach back out to Chris. At one time, Chris had, I think it was Dr. Rollerson that had expressed some interest in wanting to come on. So I'll reach back out to Chris and see if that is something that she still would like to do.
That'd be, I think it'd be good. I really do. Another thing that I want to say too is, and you've said this a bunch, and I think this come from maybe your EMA day, you're only as good as the information you're given. And when you're given bad information, things don't normally go that well.
Bad information becomes a huge part of the problem.
That's correct. Good information can help the world go round.
Absolutely. That's a fact. And
so at this point, that's kind of where we're at. We're just trying to help get good information out there and let people know, hey, we're here in a fluid situation like all of us are. Very fluid. But we're going to be here. You said, and now
rooting strong.
There again, you talk about, getting shut down. I mean, as part of the press corps, can they shut the press corps down? I mean, look, all the TV news stuff is still on in all these places that are, affected. They're still going.
I think it's certainly something worth having a conversation about.
I mean, we have credentials.
Sure we do.
We've used them like Wayne. Remember Wayne and Garth?
Yeah.
Oh, that was good. They were happy to have the backstage passes, weren't they? Showing up for that. But
swing.
I'll tell you what, there's do want to mention, I just saw Madeline Cave in. They worked hard to get those meals out last week. to the kids. I think that went very well from what I hear.
They're doing it again. I can't remember the date. I want to say it might be this Wednesday. We'll get that information. But they're doing it again at some point. And
I also point out that the Escambia County school system is going to be doing meals. I'm not sure of the actual dates or what have you. I do know that if you're 18 years or younger, and you don't have to be a student of Escambia County school system, but you can go and pick up meals as well.
Okay.
Now, I say go pick up. I'm not sure of the delivery. I may be telling that wrong.
Wednesday at noon.
Wednesday at noon. Is that delivery? Is that through the bus routes again, Madeline? Or is that, do you know that? Is that through
through
the bus routes?
At the bus stops again.
Okay. I'm going to tell you, that's a big undertaking.
Sure it is.
That's a big undertaking. I saw a lot of bags in those pictures that they had posted up where they were working to get those things out. County schools are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Thank you, Megan.
Is that through delivery, but through the bus route delivery, or is that pickup only, or what is that, Megan? Can you, or do you know, or I'm not sure. Bus routes and pickup at TRM.
The Bruton City kids.
Yes.
Megan, on the county end of it, is that coming to the schools for pickup?
I'm not sure. So, yeah, that's right, Temple. That's for sure. Just because you read it online doesn't mean it's the truth. Make sure that you look at and source everything you read.
Here it is.
There we go. 11 to 1 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is Escambia County Middle, Flomaton Elementary, and W.S. Neal High School for pickup.
Okay.
Pickup only, from what I understand. So from 11 to 1, you can pick it up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at Escambia County Middle School, which is Atmore, Flomaton Elementary, and W.S. Neal High School for pickup. Any child under 18 can participate, not just Escambia County School students.
That's outstanding.
That is outstanding.
That's outstanding.
Now
well done, county school system.
Now, for those of y'all that think you look younger than 18, you might not want to try that. Yeah. You know, there's some people out there right now going, oh. I mean, that's awful, but think about it. How many people did y'all have roll up trying to get 6 or 8 bags of ice when they were only to get 2?
Yeah.
Hey, I want to ask you this. And I can't believe it's taken me this long to remember this. Do you remember when everybody lined up down at the church to get hold of those EBT cards during Ivan?
I do.
Do you foresee something like that coming again?
It's not outside the realm of possibility, no.
Did you agree with that program?
I agreed with the program. I'm not sure I agreed with how they were dispersed. And I think that is something, once again, that was kind of new. I think there was probably a lesson learned to make sure that gets to people who need it.
Because I'm going to say this, and that's where I was going with that. Yeah. I saw a lot of people in those lines that didn't need to be there.
Well, I'm for,
and I'm not trying to dog off on anybody. I don't mean it that way. I mean, certainly that was a difficult time. Okay. But I know a lot of people that were standing in those lines waiting for one of those cards that didn't need a card to go buy groceries with.
I'm for helping anybody who really needs help.
Me too. Absolutely.
I'm all for that. If I was going to err, I would err on the side of maybe some people getting it who might not be completely deserving, as opposed to making sure their hardship is legitimate.
Well, sure. I mean, if you can't sit and ask everybody, hey, what's your situation?
I know what you're saying, and I'm saying the same thing you're saying. I just said it a little differently, but yes.
I mean, before I would say you got to check everybody oil, if you will. Yeah. Before I would say that, I'd say give them to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that.
Right.
But here's my thing. How do you use one of those online? And secondly, what grocery store in town is delivering? See, it gets back to, what if we had a service that was going and getting these groceries and delivering to people? Because here's the deal. You give those cards out to people, that's fine. But if you can't go use them, what does it matter?
Sure.
You know? So I can say this. I can say that with in times of great chaos, great ideas come out of it.
Absolutely. That's always going to happen.
And I think there's going to be the same here. You agree with that?
I do. Absolutely. 100%.
You spoke a little bit earlier about the would you call it a test or a scenario that all of the EMA and FEMA got together and ran, and you made a great point in. All this is well and good, but this is in a fixed environment, if you will.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say that was the same thing here. You know, if they were to come out and give out those types of things, how, if they're telling everybody to stay in place, how are you going to use them if you don't have a way? Now, maybe there is a grocery store in town or locally that is providing delivery service. I'm just not sure.
Knox's used to.
They sure did.
A little blue station wagon.
They did. Grocery stores use Shipt and Instacart for delivery, not local grocery stores, Kane. I'm talking Big Bear, Pick and Save. You know, I don't. Do you call Walmart a grocery store? I mean, I know that pickup thing at Walmart right now is not. I don't know this even running or working.
I'll tell you this, you know, and through this, when you have hardship and you have people that go above and beyond, they are oftentimes called heroic. And our first responders certainly fall in that category. Our health officials, health workers are in that category. Military is always in that category.
Always.
But I also send a big shout out to the folks who have worked at the grocery stores. They are certainly, in terms of an at-risk situation, or
as high as it is.
They're putting themselves more at risk than you and I are, and they do it on a daily basis. They do it, as far as I can tell, they've done it willingly. You know, I was in Pick and Save Saturday morning, and they were all very pleasant, everyone I encountered, and I encountered several. And I was sitting there thinking about it going home, you know, that, I mean, I know it kind of goes with the job, but I think they kind of go over and beyond a little bit. And I think they should be commended as well.
I think it's a great point, because I want to tell you, we know that the first responders, healthcare, people like that, they're going to be out, the policemen, firemen, they got to be out there. But people at a grocery store, you don't think about. I'll tell you something else we haven't mentioned either, and I want to mention this because we have some great friends of ours that are the musicians that are affected by this. I don't know that we've spoke about them.
We haven't. That's probably something we need to
But we need to talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I want to tell you right now, there are a lot of people.
Truck drivers.
Hey, that's another one.
Right now, they're making it happen for all of us.
There's no doubt.
They're making it happen for all of us.
There's no doubt.
They are the supply chain.
They are. They are. And without them, we would be down.
Thank you for bringing that up, Wanda.
Yes. We'll get more into the truck drivers and the musicians and other affected tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.-ish on the Feel Good.
The best,
worst
show ever.
All right, DJ.
Had a great Monday morning with everybody in. Appreciate you wasting some of your time with us. Hope everybody has a safe day. Be careful and diligent in how you take care of yourself as you can. Trade with the local businesses as well. Got to keep them going. And if you have some time to waste tomorrow, get back in here and we'll do it all over again. Y'all have a great day. Love y'all.
I want your money, not your life, but if you try and make a move, I won't think twice. I told him you can have my cash, but first you know I gotta ask what made you wanna live this kind of life. He said there ain't no rest